The Oakland County community in mourning today after a gunman opened fire at a Rochester Hills splash pad. It has been a full 24 hours since the shooting took place, and tonight we are hearing from the family members of the victims as their long road to recovery gets underway. Thank you for joining us here on Local 4 Plus. We've received several updates from investigators since that shooting took place last night. Let's take a moment to get you caught up on everything we know so far. The shooting happened just after 5 p.m. at the Brooklands Plaza splash pad. According to the sheriff's office, in total, 9 people were shot. The victims range in age from 4 years old to 78 years old, among them a mother and her 8-year-old son, who are both in critical condition right now. The alleged shooter has been identified as 42-year-old Michael Nash. He's from Shelby Township. Police say he opened fire with a handgun, shooting 28 times. Police found him at a mobile home park after the shooting. We're told he took his own life. And right now, a vigil is being held to allow the community members to come together and mourn with the families impacted by this tragedy. That's where we find my partner, Will Jones, tonight. Will, can't even begin to imagine the emotions that people are going through as they try to make sense of what's happened.
Pam, it is extremely challenging. We're at Woodside Bible Church in Troy. This prayer vigil got underway at 5 o'clock, and this is in partnership with nearby Kensington Church. We just stepped out for a moment to do this live shot, and the goal with this prayer vigil is to show support for the victims and their loved ones, along with first responders who responded to this tragedy and those who are caring for those injured right now. Earlier today, Rochester Hills Mayor Brian Burnett spoke about how this tragedy is impacting his community. Here's what he had to say.
I've talked to some of the victims' families. One of the victims' was a member of our team. Her husband works for the city. Chatted with them. They had their entire family out at the splash pad. They're healing. They're grateful that the situation wasn't worse. But as I said yesterday, our focus is on, in particular, the one family, the mother and the 2 boys that were shot, particularly the 8-year-old, praying for his speedy and complete recovery.
Mayor Barnett is here. He spoke about 20 minutes ago. He attends this church, and this all came together last minute, as you might expect. This tragedy happened yesterday, and they were unsure about how many people were going to attend this prayer vigil. It is Father's Day, but I can tell you, as people started to file in, they started adding chairs. We're going to have much more on this later, but for now, we're going to go back inside. I'm going to send it back to you, Pam. We're live in Troy. Will Jones, Local 4.
All right, well, thank you. We will see you back here for 11. 2 of the victims injured in the shooting were shielding their own children from the shooter when they were shot. Michaela and Eric Coughlin were at the splash pad with their 2 daughters. The parents were shot 7 times between the 2 of them. They're in the hospital, and according to their GoFundMe, will face a long recovery. Their daughters, ages 2 and 7 months, were unharmed. As we learn more about the victims and what happened, the mental health and well-being of the community is very top of mind. Oakland County officials laid out plans to help anyone who might be struggling in the aftermath of this mass shooting. Priya Mann was in Rochester Hills today with more on the resources that are now available.
The splash pad where this tragedy unfolded is only about a mile away from this DPS building, which will now be the site of a family assistance center, and therapists will be available all week long.
This isn't a short-term event. This community and the people impacted are going to be hurting for a long time, so you can't abandon them.
Immediately after the mass shooting at Brooklands Splash Pad, Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter says plans for mental health resources were in the works.
You have to realize that mental health issues can happen in any family, at any income, at any race, anywhere in the county or the country.
Starting Sunday, therapists will be available for anyone in need. The Oakland County Health Network was on the ground in Oxford and is mobilizing again, this time in Rochester Hills.
We all have a connection to this community, for those of us who have children, to hear about things like this happening to other children, to other families. So to even begin to process the impact of something like this happening in a place where you've always felt safe, felt comfortable to go, can be very destabilizing.
Everyone is encouraged to talk to someone, and you don't need an appointment to access resources at the Family Assistance Center.
Break the stigma, just talk it out. Tough firemen and firewomen can do it, cops can do it, then you can too.
As vigils are being organized, longtime Rochester Hills Mayor Brian Barnett says meal trains are already in place to help affected families.
If there is any sort of silver lining, you're reminded we are a great community. Rochester Hills is an incredibly proud, strong, and caring and generous community, and we've seen that exhibited tremendously over the last 18 hours.
And trained therapists will be available here Monday through Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. Everyone is encouraged to attend. The address, by the way, is 511 East Auburn Road. In Rochester Hills, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Priya, for getting us that information. If you cannot make it out to the Family Assistance Center, reach out to the nurse on call. That number is on your screen there. It's 800-848-5533. They are available Monday through Friday, 8:30 until 5.